What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob. Today I'm doing a peated cask strength rundown. So the rundown's gonna go from the Lagavulin all the way to the two Port Charlottes at the end, and I'm gonna nose and taste each of these. I've reviewed the 2016 Lagavulin 12 cask strength, but this is the 2017. I wasn't gonna include it in this video just because the other three are quite a bit younger and they're also wine influenced, whereas the Lagavulin is an ex-bourbon cask only. But the reason why I'm including it is because I've already reviewed the 2016. I don't know how many Lagavulin cask strength editions people want to see, so I wanted to include it, get it out of the way. But I'm going to start with that because the other ones are a little bit more robust, a little bit more in your face, whereas the Lagavulin is a little bit more elegant. So we're going to start with that one and move our way to the Port Charlottes. So there's a nice heathery peat on this Lagavulin. Some lemon notes in there. Lemon sugar. Candied lemon peel. A touch of like hay or something like that. Distant campfire. Not sure what the ppm on the Lagavulin is. The parts per million of phenols, which is just the scientific way of talking about peat, but I'm gonna guess it's probably around 40. I could be wrong about that. It could be even a bit less than that, maybe between 25 and 40. Definitely like a sugary note on the nose. On the palate, like a buttery lemon cream. Nice smokiness on the back end. The finish is amazing. I think that's the best part about these Lagavulin 12-year-old cask strength. The finish is always incredible. Sugary, nice balance of smoke and sweetness. And you really get that distillery characteristic because it's probably a pretty tired cask used in these whiskeys. Excellent stuff. Honestly, that's a 90 for me. It's an A+. I probably marked the 2016 a little higher than that. I would say that these are even. I'm adjusting as I go with these rundowns, so some of my older marks are a bit inflated and I need to bring those down. This is a 90, so it's an A+. It's definitely an A+ for me. Really, really good. An A+ is an excellent score. Anything 85 or higher for me is an excellent score. Something that I would probably buy again depending on the price. So this is an A+, this is a 90. Moving on to the Kilchoman. Now this is a wine cask. It's just over 6 years old, 50 ppm, 58%. And it's an Alberta exclusive. Now, the Lagavulin is 56.5% ABV. It's about $160 at the LCBO, which is really expensive. You can get it for less in Alberta, but not that much less. You're probably looking at around $120 to $140. In the US, it's even better priced, but still not cheap. Okay, but it's a 12-year-old cask strength, so this is a little bit cheaper. This is probably around $80. As far as nose goes, get a little bit more smoke from the Lagavulin, so maybe it's higher than 50 ppm. Get a little bit less on this one. When I first sat the four of these together, I noticed that the nose was really, the peat from this one is taken away compared to the other three. I'm not sure why that is, but you still get it. You get it more on the palate, along with a really nice apricot note. It's actually really nice on the palate. This one got much, much better as it oxidized in the bottle. I probably opened that a few months ago, probably 3 or 4. It's really nice. On the nose, you get like a apricot jam type note. and then it's followed by some peat smoke. A little bit of like a muddy peat. At first the wine cask didn't really come through when I opened this bottle. Now it's starting to come through more. Like I said, apricot notes, apricot jam. Definitely a lot of sweetness here. And then the peat's more on the finish. But the finish isn't super long. Okay, so like I said, that's about 6 years old. So it's 6 years younger than the Lagavulin. If I have to score this one, I'm probably going to give it an 85. It's really nice. Originally, I was probably going to give this an 81, 82. It's improved drastically from when I first opened it. So 85 for the Kilchoman Wine Cask. Moving on to the Port Charlotte MRC 01 2010. This is not to be mistaken with the MC 01. It is the Cask Exploration Series, 7 years old, aged in French Bordeaux casks. It's 59.2% on the nose. Okay, so similar to the most Octomores I've had. The age is similar. I wouldn't be surprised if the ppm is really high on this, at least in the 80s, maybe up to the hundreds. I'm not sure if it's quite Octomore style peat, but it's very, very close. And I'm starting to believe that once it gets to a certain level, it's very hard to actually pick that up. The difference between 80 ppm and 300 ppm, it's honestly, you have to be very skilled to pin that out blind. It's just, I don't even know if we're capable of picking that up on our senses. This is probably the most peated of the four. Definitely some more farm-like notes with this kind of peat. And then smoked meats as well. And there's a really nice sweetness in the back end. A lot of farm-like hay, mud on the palate. Super sweet, mouth coating, syrupy, like a glazed ham, followed by like all kinds of like a Thanksgiving type flavors. You're getting like a cranberry sauce or like even some sort of barbecue sauce. Really nice, like bacon flavors in there as well. Really, really good. So this is one of those things that if I had to mark it last year, I probably would have gone a little bit crazy with the mark because I'm really starting to get into this style of peat and whiskeys. But now that I've really tried to like hone in on a proper marking scale and really like assess things the way they should be, I'm gonna give this one an 87. It's really, really nice. It's something I would definitely buy again. I'd probably buy a couple of these if I could because it's well priced and it's really, really tasty whiskey, super flavorful. I find for some reason people that are transitioning from bourbon to Scotch really go for these style peated whiskeys because they're really robust in flavor, really robust on the nose. That peat and that sweetness, that combination, it bodes well for the guys that are coming off those robust bourbon flavors. So, really nice. But yeah, that's a 87, 88. So that's an A for me. Really good stuff. And last but not least, the MC01, which is aged in Marsala casks. It's 9 years old and it's 56.3%. I've gone through this a little too quickly because I'm absolutely in love with it. For those of you that don't know, Marsala is a Sicilian wine. It's fortified much like sherry and port is. Really, really nice stuff. If you have an opportunity, buy a bottle of Marsala because it's relatively cheap and you get a good idea of how similar it is to like a sherry. Beautiful nose here. It's about halfway down the bottle, just under halfway. So a lot of the peat that I first got when I opened this bottle is actually subsiding a little bit, making way for a beautiful like maple syrup bacon. This one in particular is travel retail only. For whatever reason, Alberta got a whole bunch of it, which doesn't really make sense because it was destined for travel retail. But Alberta surprises us once in a while. Not sure what the ppm level is here, but it feels like it's lower than the Bordeaux cask. On the palate, so easy to drink. That 56.3 is almost undetectable. It's frighteningly easy to drink at that ABV. Super sweet, beautiful peat finish. You don't get any of the farm notes that you get from the Bordeaux Port Charlotte, the MRC. Yeah, this is my kind of whiskey. Robust, has a really nice peat flavor to it. It's well balanced. There's not those harsh notes that are usually masked by peat. If you uncover the layers, you kind of find it. In the younger peated whiskeys, that's not here. This feels a lot older than it actually is, as opposed to the MRC 01, which kind of has that robust peat to kind of mask the imperfections of the whiskey, which I still love. I love those imperfections. I love that like farm note and the high ABV. That's happening here with these Port Charlottes for the most part, but not the MC01. I don't know why. It just feels a little bit more refined. It's only 2 years older, but it's really, really nice. At 9 years old, I would definitely mistake this for something older. The only thing that would tip me off is it has all those octomore flavors that are easily identifiable. And for that reason, I'd be able to tell that it's probably a Port Charlotte, which means it's probably younger. But I love what Bruichladdich doing with this whiskey. This one is a 91 for me. It's fantastic. And I want to say that the MC01 at 91, last year would probably be like a 92, 93, if not higher. So really, really good whiskey. I'm definitely going to buy another bottle of this if I can. And honestly, it goes quickly. So the MC01 is an A+ for me. All of these are excellent whiskeys. The Kilchoman is in tough company in my opinion, and I like doing these rundowns because it allows me to compare these whiskeys against each other and have a better idea of where they should fit on the scale. If I reviewed all of these independently, they probably would be a % or two higher. That's just the nature of the beast. They could be even a little bit lower depending on my palate that evening. But I'm going to continue to do these rundowns because I think it gives you guys a little bit of a better perspective of where I'm going with the marking here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you really like the video and you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. You guys can check me out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and you guys can also check me out on Patreon. Cheers.